Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. Today we're talking about embodying your future self now. And these aren't just words or some projection or some goal to get to. There's something that is powerful in our capacity to activate within ourselves right now. And today's guest, Emily Harrison, is going to bring about profound wisdom and direct access. We're going to step into the Akashic Field and you're going to see vibrational codes, vibrational access. What you do with them after the call is up to you. But I suggest that you go deeper, but it's going to be amazing. And the perspective, the holding the field together. And again, what Emily just so beautifully articulates through her embodied experience as well. It's a game changer. So it's going to be an amazing call. Emily's the founder and director of the Akashic Academy, which is a modern day mystery school that's empowering humanity to find personal freedom through the Akashic Records. She is one of the most amazing personal and business coaches that I have worked with. And to have her on the show is a gift for Beyond the Ordinary. And with that, Emily, thank you for coming back on.
I am so happy to be here. This is one of my favorite places to drop in to the BTO family. You know how special you are to me too, John. So
Thank you.
because you are one of the biggest reasons that I'm here doing this work. Your
Mm.
devotion to this show for many, many years activated me. And I get giggly with my girlfriends before I'm coming on this show. I'm like, you don't know how much I love being here. So yeah, and to hear your edification means a lot to me. So thanks for having me back. Hi, everybody.
Mm. So why the topic of embodying your future self? How did that come into your consciousness to present?
Because that's what I'm doing right now, and it's really challenging.
Mhm.
Like when you talked about.
There you go. Let me get paid to teach this,
Yeah,
to
and
learn
you know
this.
what? Seriously, that's one of the what I've noticed about how my human works, because I am a teacher at my heart and soul. I love to teach. And one of the best ways for me to learn myself is to turn around and teach what I'm just learning or what I've learned myself, right? So when I have to put it into context and, really dissect it and look at the patterns and understand what's happening so that I can communicate that to somebody else, that it's challenging and valuable in the nature of how I work. And
Mm,
thank goodness I had the Akashic Records to illuminate because, I also notice that I'm very much in human form. Like I can notice the difference between human Emily and my higher self, and they're getting closer and closer to being integrated all the time. But the times that they're not integrated, what I need to do is just have some compassion for the human experience, right? Calm
mm,
myself down, unattach from the distortion and the triggers, and then observe, look at the patterns, see what's happening so I can come back into my body smarter, right?
mm.
And I feel like this is just the perfect way to serve others who are working at a high level, and why I love coming into spaces like this so much because I just respect this community and the work that they do and how they show up in the world. So
It's wonderful.
that's how I
So
chose the topic.
I love that. So what does the Akashic field have to do with embodying our future self?
Well, for those that are maybe new to the Akashic Records, let's just get it all of us on the playing in the same sandbox here.
Hmm.
So, if you are new to the Akashic Records, this is the realm of consciousness that holds all information, every detail of our past, our present, all possible futures, and is recorded from a space of neutrality, which means unconditional love and zero judgment. Okay, that's a very poetic way to describe the Akashic Records. We've also got, amazing visionaries like Joe Dispenza on the planet right now who talks about superconscious intelligence, which helps us to start to understand, oh, this is going beyond my human perspective. I'm tapping into a bigger network of intelligence, the one mind, the universal God mind. Uh, but way before Joe Dispenza, all the way back to Sanskrit, John, this
Hmm.
intelligence, this concept of the Akash, the ether, has been pervasive here on the planet. Akash is a Sanskrit word that means ether. Ether is primordial energy. And what's unique about planet Earth is that well, I should say rare. It's Earth isn't the only place in the cosmos that is a living library. However, it's rare to find a planet that's a living library planet, which means access to the Akash, to this intelligence that has created the universe is available to us through every cell of consciousness here on the planet. It's a holographic structure. And as we're doing our work to wake up and raise our vibrational frequency and not be, you know, enslaved to the distortion, the Maya, the illusion, we can see it and it's here to communicate with us and guide us and to help us. The records have some unique operating characteristics, though, and that is they work by what's known as invitation only. So we've
Mm.
got to really self initiate. We've got to step into our power and say, oh, I can communicate with this realm. It will communicate with me if I initiate the communication. And so we initiate the communication by asking questions and learning how to move our bodies, our vibrational frequencies into a match, a vibrational match of unconditional love and zero judgment. And then we start to tap into this realm and we get fed not only data and intelligence that helps us perceive life differently and understand, but I find there's also a transmission that helps me to embody the energy. Like I can feel it in my cells and I can feel that it's almost like the old patterns are leaving and I can feel new energies coming in. And the more aware I am of my subtle energy body, the more I can perceive what's happening in the Akash beyond just the cognitive plane.
How do you take the perception? Because a lot of people try to get to perception, and it's
Hmm.
like they work towards it, and it's a vibrational shift in a lot of ways, removing outdated limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
leveling up into no possibilities, getting into a place of intention of benevolence rather than a manipulation. And that
Hmm.
really activates being able to activate the perception. What's wonderful about you, and I would love for you to talk about this in a little more detail, is that how can we go beyond just perceiving and knowing something into actually taking action? Because I think that is what's calling us so strongly right now. We've done a lot of the work. Everything that isn't in accordance with the vibrational field of who we've become, we would say
Hmm.
that future self, even that's
Hmm.
not quite just actualized, but it's right there.
Yep.
And what is it that, how is it that you help people go into actualization, not just awareness?
Well, I bring in my past life of being an actress, right? Where we have to act as if. So really,
Mhm.
it's about clarity and planning. It's not rocket science, but you're right. It's a step that we can often miss because you get your mind blown. You're like, oh, whoa, I see
Yeah.
it differently. And then sometimes that's enough for us, and then we go, back into our life, and gravity takes over, and our environment that has been previously programmed reprograms us and we just feel like you said, but what do we do next? Like how do we change ourselves in that
Mhm.
step from having the aha moment to going back into the the real world of our life and be
The
different?
carrying it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to say, okay, well, so this shift and change, what does this mean about me? How do I get to show up differently now? Right?
Mhm.
And for me, most of my teaching comes through my triggers because that's when I stop and ask, right? I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That's when I stop and like, okay,
Discomfort is a great motivator. Yes.
it is, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get triggered about something. I'll recognize that I'm in the trigger and I'll calm myself down and say, okay, show me what is the lesson here, right? And then the data starts coming in. I get the aha moments. Then I have to take it a step further and say, all right, well, what does this mean about me now? Okay.
Mm.
How do I get to show up differently with this new information? And I have to imagine it, like role play myself in it in that moment, which helps to consecrate it in the body. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that the next time I'm in that situation, the trigger comes up, I'm going to remember. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes
Mm.
the gravity gets me, although I get closer and closer every time. It's like that, the old saying in the story, you walk down the street, you fall in the hole. You walk down the street, you fall in the hole. You walk down the street, you walk around the hole. You walk down a different street. Like it takes you a
Mm.
bunch of times before we finally figure it out. But that's what it looks like for me, and that's what's really helpful is just to take those extra moments to plan and then Imagine it, try it on in that moment.
But this is really cool because I work in this field of potential timelines also in different ways. And what you're talking about imagining a new version of yourself, that's actually an opportunity to tap into your future self as well. And we can do that through the Akash, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Oh, tell us
100%.
more. Tell us
Yes.
more.
Well, here, well, let's just talk about like the differences between doing it in the Akash or outside of the Akash, right?
Perfect. Yes.
Right. So doing it outside of the Akash, it's still going to be effective for us.
Hmm.
All right. But when we take that moment to set the intention of, hang on a second, I've got this technology that's going to help me not only shift my energy right now with intentionality, but also rewrite my records, essentially rewrite these
Hmm.
patterns as they are recorded in the field of the Akash. We not only shift it for that moment when we're doing it and practicing it, but we're shifting it forward and backward through time in the records. And it's as simple as bringing more intentionality and ceremony back into our lives. Okay.
Hmm.
So there's no, when I say you could go into the Akash and you get to rewrite it forward and backward through time, some of us might start to get caught up in, oh, how do I do that exactly right? It's not about that even, right? It's about the fact that going into the Akash is going to bring intentionality and higher purpose to it,
Hmm.
right? And when we're doing that kind of imagination work in the Akash, it is ceremony, it
Hmm.
is ritual. And these are
I
pieces
love
of
that you bring
wisdom.
that up. That is so important to really understand the sacred space that we are co-creating,
Yes.
right?
And we have so many tools. And I'm bringing that more into my life right now. That's really helping me to embody my future self. Like, have you ever heard me say, I made some cacao for our
Never.
call
The
tonight,
first
John?
time,
It broke
yes.
my heart.
It's like, Emily?
So right there, so I'm bringing even more intentionality
Mm,
into how I get to show up and serve and be, very transparent about my own journey. That's really like the teaching essence of where I want to share from tonight is just, yeah, talk real about the challenges and what it looks like to embody
mm,
the self and what comes up as we're
right.
walking that path. Yeah.
Mm. When we walk the path and we're stepping into the Akashic field, how is it that we start attuning and getting those vibrational codes from our future self?
We want to do it? let's,
Absolutely. We're
let's
going to get into the
yeah,
process.
yeah, let's
Amazing.
just going into the records begins to shift our vibrational frequency and bring us into a place where we can receive those codes which are already coming in today.
Mm,
Just before we go in though, let's like demystify this whole like the codes and the transmission, and it's all happening very naturally in the now.
mm,
Talk about the perception shift.
mm,
That's just the perception shift, the invitation into the story, the invitation to see what is unseen about this sacred gathering, this sacred conversation. We're about to open the records together. It becomes sacred ceremony. It's an invitation to see everything differently.
mm.
Yeah.
For me, it brings intentional presence. It's like laser-like presence when we do that in ceremony.
Yes. And when we do it together, it just amplifies the energy.
Mm,
And then, like to answer a little bit more specifically, I didn't know this when this process. I call it the 5 ohm method to open the Akashic records. When it came through, it just came into my field. Like I asked my guides. I knew that I was here to teach this to other people, and
mm,
I knew that I needed my own way to take people into the Akashic records. And there are lots of ways to do it. So I just asked my guides, "Hey, what's my way to take people in?" And instantly, these ideas started to come into my mind, and it's the 5 ohm method. But what I didn't recognize is the frequency of ohm. When we're saying that, when we're making that sound with our body, we are actually preparing our body to receive communication and transmission,
mm,
which is really cool. Okay.
mm,
And since we're
mm,
going to be even more intentional about it today, y'all, let's practice doing the ohms at a really high level. So when I say them, you'll hear me say like ah, and then I stretch into ohm. That's my attempt to pronounce all 5 of those vowel sounds in the ohm.
Mm.
Okay, those are bringing in all of the tones, the tonality of creation, and tapping you into your divinity. And then you want to move your mouth in a way so you like exaggerate the lips so you're oming and you come into that
Oh.
om. Okay.
Mm.
And then when you get the om at the end, tongue to the roof of the mouth behind your teeth. Okay. What that does is it completes some circuitry in your body so that when we are receiving these codes, you can receive them more fully without fragments.
Oh, wow. I love that. Thank you for the back of the tongue, the full exaggeration of the mouth. I'm gonna with you, but on mute, so not to
Okay.
interrupt the audience. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Zoom gets a little funny too about the
Mm.
sounds that come through.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's go in together. Go into the field. And going in with the intention of embodying our future self to receive intelligence and codes from that future version of ourselves. And let's just take a moment to, before we open the records, to get in touch with, as specifically as we can, what that future version of ourself, just what we feel like. Okay, we're just gonna and just tap in. How do you want to feel? For me, peace. Ooh, that's a big one. Peace, joy. I want to feel at ease. I want to feel safe. I want to feel inspired. I want to feel clear. Name it and claim it. What it is that you want to fully embody and you want to feel. Okay? Yeah, we're starting to already tap into the codes of our future self that embodies all of that. So I'm going to invite you to sit up nice and straight. Feel all four corners of your feet on the floor. It's an important connection point, so just send your consciousness down and just notice where you're connected into the floor. Good. Adjusting the rest of the posture now, we want to sit up nice and straight, tuck your tailbone and chin under, elongating the spine. So up and down your spine, you've got a crystalline tube of light. This is ancient technology. It is completely under your directive. Okay. And then I want you to lay your palms up, open and receptive on your lap. This is also giving the body, mind, the nervous system the indication to soften and to receive intelligence today. Okay. And then we're going to synchronize our breath. We're going to do 3 synchronized breaths together. The breath pattern looks like first, we're going to empty all the air out of our lungs. Take a deep breath in through the lungs. I'm sorry, well, duh, in through the lungs, in through your nose. And we want to fill the lungs all the way up with air. We're going to pause at the top of the breath. That's the point of zero resistance. There's a whole bunch of resetting happening when we're pausing at the top of that breath. And then as you exhale, this part's important too. We're going to exhale through pursed lips, which means we're breathing through a straw. Okay. Again, this breath pattern in through the nose, holding and then exhaling through the pursed lips. This is adjusting physiology in the body to bring you into a state of full receptivity. And then we'll pause again at the bottom of that breath. Okay. So let's get ready to synchronize that breath pattern together, everybody. Empty all the air out of your lungs. And let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, creating space. Deep breath in. Okay, breathing in, filling the lungs all the way up. Good. Pausing at the top of that breath, bringing space into the body. Turn your awareness inward. Notice that space integrating into your mind, into your emotions, into your body. Now, as you gently exhale, notice the space you're creating in the field around you. Could arrive at the bottom of that breath, pausing, and then drawing in breath through the nose. Calling light into the body. Light from 360 degrees enters into your cellular structure. Good. Pause at the top of the breath. Turn the awareness inward. Notice every cell of your body is now illuminating with rainbow color light. As you gently exhale, enjoying the moment as you notice yourself as a being of light. Good. Pausing at the bottom of that breath. We're dematerializing here. We're becoming beings of light. We're letting go of the density. Good. One more deep breath in. Full intentionality, calling your consciousness into the now moment, pausing at the top of the breath. Allow a convergence of the oversoul, letting go of everything that happened before this moment, everything you still get to show up to tonight or today. Good, nice, gentle exhale as you follow the breath with your awareness, arriving at the end of the exhale, fully present in the now, in the moment of power. Good. Turn your awareness inward. Activate the crystalline tube of light. With your intention, with your imagination, send the crystalline tube of light down into the core of Mother Earth, feeling your connection to this planet. See if you can notice the bi-directional nature of the crystalline tube of light as it anchors into the core of Mother Earth. You have an opportunity now to relax, to release any stress that you're carrying in your body, mind, or emotions, giving it to Mother Earth for transmutation. Good. And calling up the energy of your divine blueprint of perfection here on this planet, your divine blueprint of Christed consciousness, your potentiality. Mother Earth holds all of those codes. We have the opportunity in this incarnation to ascend in all four of our bodies, our mental body, our emotional body, our physical body, our energy bodies. Previously, in previous incarnations, we've worked on only one of these bodies, or maybe one of these bodies for many incarnations. The accelerated nature of soul growth that is open this time on planet Earth allows all beings to step into the potential to be free, to be happy, to be healthy, to be prosperous. Bring that potential online from Mother Earth now. Good, focusing again on the crystalline tube of light, sending it out the top of your head very quickly all the way up through the layers of space and time. Exiting the universe, exiting the multiverse. Deep inhale as we anchor into the Akash, the all that is. Setting the intention that as you exhale, your body will acclimate to this high frequency energy. And see if you can notice the codes, the intelligence of your soul forward and backward through time, illuminating in gold, platinum, diamond sparkles, these photons of light. This is all the transmission that you've called forward today. All of this intelligence, the data is here. It spirals down the crystalline tube of light now very quickly through the layers of space and time, harnessing, activating in the soul star, spiraling down through the crown, the third eye, the fourth eye, the throat, ascended heart, solar plexus, sacral root, spiraling out your feet, activating earth star chakra below your feet, anchoring into the core of Mother Earth, breathing. Circulate this energy through the crystalline tube of light like it's a giant figure eight, a big infinity symbol with the vortex in your heart. Good. Dropping the consciousness from the mind into the heart, meeting that vortex of energy, yes, activating the heart mind, activating our innate intelligence to be with us, to guide us, to be embodied within us. From this point forward, we'll now sound the 5 sacred ohms and open the records. With this ohm, I relax my body. Ah. With this ohm, I relax my mind. Ah. With this ohm, I release my ego. Ah. With this ohm, I call in the light. Ah. With this ohm, I open the Akashic Records of Emily Suzanne Harrison. And you guys can open your own records, use your full name. Ah, ah. The records are now open. Take some nice deep breaths, everybody. Some slow blinks. Come on back into your bodies. Take a moment to notice perhaps what's different or sensations moving in your body. Just your notice is you moving into higher relationship with your own Akash, and that's how you strengthen your connection. Mm. I like to move the body a bit too, wiggling fingers and toes. Let your guidance guide you. Ooh. Mm. All right, John, are you receiving messages? Yeah. It's like, John's not coming back into his body yet. He's still getting. Well, what was coming in for you? Are you open to share?
Yeah, what was most prominent is I felt the vortex spinning around me in ways that I haven't before. So, and I saw a figure of like being plugged into certain circuits that were lighting something in within my body. So there's something in the stillness and in that place of presence,
Hmm.
0 points, if you will, that's amplifying something within me. Um, and the message is that time isn't a consideration there. So there's no rush.
Yes.
There's no, it has to happen. It needs to look this way. It's being in reception without
Yes.
interpretation.
Yes. My clairsentient is going off like crazy. This is another reason I love hanging out with you is because we start
Mhm.
activating each other and the pings start coming in, the feel. Um, Here's what's coming in for me too is that when you talked about the vortex spinning, I wrote that down. I'm like, oh, there's something different going on with time there. We should lean into that.
Mhm.
And then you talked about that time not existing there and the importance of that. And before we hopped on, since the last time I've been here with everybody, I went on the yearly expedition to Lionsgate or to Shasta for Lionsgate that I do in the tremendous codes that come in and you're asking me like what happened in Shasta? And one of the things that happened in Shasta was a collapse of a very important timeline that's disastrously affecting the planet right now around rushing and anxiety. Okay, because of how we've constructed time here. And it is taking us so far out of our, like instantaneously out of our divine alignment. Can I tell the story about what happened?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
So, well, as you know, behind the scenes, I might have shared last time too. I think that I did because I am stepping so much into what my dream life looks like right now.
Mhm.
And future Emily needs to show up to help current Emily walk this timeline because it's bringing up a lot of different aspects. Oh, I just noticed my
Well,
fucking,
as you're
fucking.
as you're as you're getting that also, I do want to share it and I want to witness it in you because I'm noticing in those people that are actually embodying and leading from that embodiment.
Mhm.
And and I want to speak it before you share your story.
Okay.
There's a calmer energy to you. Not that you weren't calm before, but it's so different. It's more relaxed, more peaceful, but at the same time, it emanates this confident power, if you will.
Yeah. Well, here's how I got there, y'all. I'll share it.
Mm.
So this year at Shasta was really unique and special for me because we had a documentary film crew coming to document the work. And I thought that the storyline was about, the powerful energy that comes in at Shasta during Lionsgate where we can see our purpose and anchor into our purpose. And of course, it was even bigger than what I actually recognized. So here's the real story of the documentary are the codes of the new earth.
Mm,
And they're coming in these vortex locations. And for okay, so codes of the new earth, and specifically the prophecy of the rainbow warriors of light. It's been so illuminated in my field. So this
mm,
specific prophecy talks about the souls who have incarnated in the ancient wisdom lineages and traditions here on the planet, the wisdom that seems like it's lost on the planet now, but we've incarnated through these lineages and are bringing this knowledge back into our modern day landscape through remembrance. But it's the
mm,
trigger, it's our own fallibility and challenges that trigger the remembrance and the knowledge to come forward within us. Right? So it's showing the leaders and what it looks like to actually when we're in breakdown and what we do to move through it.
mm.
So there in Shasta, I've got facilitators who are helping me in the container, and there's filming one night that they're not a part of. It's just me getting all these interviews. And so they go out on the town of Shasta to party, which really just means you go to the headwaters and you go to the drum ceremony that's happening, right? So they do this and they meet Jose, who is the 33rd Mayan timekeeper. Like,
Mm.
what? He's in town for,
Wow.
right, for Lionsgate. And Jose falls in love with them, and they fall in love with Jose, and Jose wants to like be part of the project. And so Jose gives the facilitators secret coordinates on the mountain where there is a Mayan hearth that was built 33 years ago when he became the timekeeper.
Wow.
He's about to pass it on to his daughter, and told us that we could go there for a cacao ceremony, right? And that he would meet us there. And so the next morning, two of the guys on my team, they go trekking up the mountain to find this spot, and they find it and they come back and they're all excited and they're like, it's about 10 minutes up the mountain. And of course, we didn't have this in the schedule previously. You've run events before. So, you know, from behind the scenes, it's awesome to get invited to things, but you're kind of like, ooh, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
So we put it on the end of one of our days. We're thinking it's going to be perfect. The sun's going to be setting. So we get everybody together. We got the cacao. We've got camera crews filming. So the camera crew guys go charging up the mountain to get the camera set up. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm the leader. I better get up there behind them so I can sage the space and like make sure everything's okay. So I go off running up the mountain behind them. And that's not the way it works. So Jose, who's got the knowledge, he's down at the bottom with the majority of my people who are there, right?
Mm,
And he's like, "Oh, well, we travel together. The tribe travels at the speed of the elders and the babies."
mm,
He just very methodically made it up the mountain, which by the way, it was a 10-minute hike for the boys running up the mountain, traveling as a group at night. Like it was really challenging. And it's one of the few times that I've been in a physically challenging situation. I can think of three over the past 10 years I've been doing this where I'm like, oh crap, this could be like more challenging than people anticipated, right? And so
mm,
I've got these worries in my mind. Well, finally everybody gets up to the top and we have this beautiful cacao ceremony, and then Jose again reminds us all, I'm the one who needs to hear it, that we travel together, the group stays together, and we're kumbaya up there, John, kumbaya. And then
mm,
the ceremony's over, and I'm freaking exhausted from holding all of this energy. And I get, my assistant and my mom who's with me. We've got enough facilitators up there. They're like, just get down the mountain, go rest. We got them. So I take off down the mountain. What a shit show, right? It was dark. There were rocks everywhere. Like everybody needed to travel together, and the tribe got separated. And some of my most dear favorite clients got very upset with me, rightfully so,
mm,
right? And it brought an opportunity for deep listening and a clearing conversation around me recognizing, no, this really is what needs to happen. And when I was having that conversation and thinking in my mind how important this is to implement into my company, my business, my ethos when I'm, how I'm working. my human mind comes into battle and says, well, that's not possible when you're running a retreat and you got people that need to be places here and there. And then my record stopped me and they showed me. They're like, nope, here's how it works. And I started to see this bigger picture of how it works. You just plan for more time. It's similar to, I said, take the time to try on, to plan, to imagine your future self. Like our success is in the planning.
Hmm.
Slow down, just more time for everybody to be, and then see what happens when the tribe travels together. And once I surrendered to that, John, I started to see how we've created artificial time. We've got artificial boundaries that we've put on ourselves that cause us to rush and to create massive anxiety, which kicks our nervous systems out of whack, right? And then we lose touch with the natural way that we can stay in touch with our divine, move effortlessly with each other in nature, and everything gets to unfold.
Hmm. And we're not ripping ourselves apart from intimacy. We're actually inviting it in. And do we not all crave that in one way or another?
Yes, right? And thank you
Hmm.
for saying that because I can see that that was human Emily's intention was to create this opportunity for intimacy. But
Yeah.
then I got caught in the distortion, the Maya, the illusion, right? And so being able to recognize that, to take ownership of that as a leader, to make the course corrections for the future
Mm.
is it's a raw space to be in. But I think it's so important that our leaders see this right now, others who are stepping into leadership and realize the vulnerable transparency that is required to lead at this time.
Hmm. No one gets left behind.
No one gets left behind.
And we can't really move forward in the way that we're supposed to unless everybody comes because they're all part of the intelligence that's guiding the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's profound what's coming through.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And it
man.
becomes more than just about us. We realize that it's us
Yes.
and
None of
it
us.
can't be without us, but it's us and.
Mm-hmm. Remember, none of us is smarter than all of us.
Mm,
John Maxwell. Yeah.
mm.
I'm listening to the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership again.
Wow, I love that. Love that. You know, I want to get into the smartness and I want y'all to experience it. Y'all's Emily's special offer is a one-on-one session at a greatly reduced price. We'll get into that in a little bit. But if you guys want to ask a personal question, raise your hands. Let's get into your records. This is an amazing opportunity to do so. And to raise your hand, just look at the bottom of the screen, find the little the hand that says raise hand, and it'll promote you to a panelist. So we'll start getting into some of your records. And I have to tell you, every time I've had a session with Emily, going into it, it has been profound, next level what is available. So again, we'll get into the special offer in a little bit. But as I'm starting to promote people to panel assembly, what did you receive in the records when you were in?
When we were opening before,
Yeah.
uh, waves and waves and pulses of energy, and
Yeah.
all of us coming together too, like you said, John, and moving together. I was feeling the power of that. Um, Bringing through modern day ceremony.
I love that.
Yeah, it was coming alive in my field that this is activating us even more than we even realize, just
Mm,
because really what we're doing is we're coming together like the ancient masters would come together to do this work, right? And we're doing it. This is we might have opened the records before when I've come here, but we don't necessarily always do that, I don't think.
agreed.
Yeah, this was felt like, all right, they're ready. Let's go,
No, there was something, it was
right?
like, it was alive in a way that I haven't felt it before.
Yeah.
And that's just an indication of the work that not only I have done and that Emily has done, but again, in the collective that we're holding this space for another, we're amplifying
Yes.
each other. And even if, let's say, I'm the lowest denominator vibrationally speaking, it's okay. We all raise each other up and we get to meet. That's why it's so important. Our environment where we choose to put and invest and feed the field with the essence of us
Yes.
is so important right now. Well, it always has been, but I think we're becoming more aware of the implications of where we invest in a good way and where we invest in the way that diminishes and takes away from us.
Yep.
So,
Chills.
all right, let's go to, oh, go ahead,
What?
Emily.
Well, I was just gonna say, if anybody maybe doesn't have a personal question that you feel brave enough to ask, but if you have a planetary question or what's going on, like all those are great questions too that help
Mm,
me tap in and get intelligence that supports the planet because I don't necessarily always ask those questions. So if you're
awesome.
curious about anything like that too, yeah, throw it out there.
Great. All right, well, let's start. Let's go to Annette. Annette, welcome to the call.
Hi. I I just got done with a dream work program for the day, and so I hurried up and well, I didn't hurry up. It was very fluid to find you guys, which is so bizarre because I just processed a past life. So it's like one thing is leading
Mm,
to something else. It's like breadcrumbs almost. So this is awesome. My question is, let's see, how would I articulate this? Okay. Um, wow. How do I discern carrying my ancestors or my generational trauma from who I really am and who I really am supposed to be? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
mm.
that's a good question. Excellent question. But the first thing that the guys just want to bring awareness to, though, is the beautiful energy that you're bringing in, Annette, and being so in flow and just like open and receptive as a student and receiving from life. Like that is a powerful energy. And I was like, yes, I want some of that, Annette. So that's just really, really beautiful and lots of celebration in the higher realms for the work that you're doing right now. Okay, so you asked specifically, how do you notice the difference between ancestral and generational trauma and what is actually authentically you? Okay, let me see what the guys have to say about that. Well, first of all, in our subtle body, we're going to notice the difference right away from what feels like a density or a heaviness or an ick or something that we don't want to feel to truth and lightness. And like it's the body responds super simply. And that's something that a lot of us can ignore sometimes because it's so obvious, right? Well, duh, of course I'm going to feel bad if I'm processing when, the ancestral trauma of abuse that but it's that obvious, right? It's
yeah.
the intelligence is that obvious. Okay. Um,
Well, okay, I'm sorry, I'm
yeah,
saying one more thing.
sure.
I guess I had this notion that I was supposed to carry it and I was supposed to process it because they're my ancestors, like my parents came from their parents and there's this theory that as I'm healing and processing, I'm healing my whole lineage. But it seems like I get kind of mired in it in a way.
Yep,
Mhm.
100%. You're very
Yeah.
wise. You a wise, wise child. Okay, so there are paradigms that are shifting and changing massively here on the planet, like fundamental paradigms, right? That require us to be willing to think about things differently. That's really like the new earth. That's what the idea of like getting into the new earth. It's really the new earth is here, it's all around us. We sort of get kicked out when we start perceiving things in the old way. And there are some interesting things that need to flip, right? And this idea is one of them of, well, I'm supposed to do it because they're my ancestors and I'm supposed to carry it. So, sort of, yes, because here's why we feel that way, the guys are saying, is because the collective story programs the field, and DNA is a very programmable technology. So when all of us start to collectively believe that our DNA is going to hold all of that past stuff and it's going to carry over, that's what we experience. right? And it's not necessarily untrue, and it's also not unvaluable to the soul.
Okay.
It's just part of the old paradigm or the old construct of how we learn. Here's another way where that subtle self-sacrifice energy is woven into our planet. And this is part of what we're breaking now is we're saying, okay, ancestors, helped you out, got a lot of learning from that. Now I'm going to claim my sovereignty and my freedom, which we can also have the opportunity to do. And then we're not hinged to that old paradigm of I got to process everybody else's crap in addition to my own, right?
Yeah.
But here's where I find that one comes in. It's around like I find it in religion and sacrifice, like how it's programmed into our our DNA. I mean, I grew up immersed in the Southern Baptist Church, and I was taught that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and that I worship him for dying, for him being sacrificed. So I'm sacrifice worshiping, and then I'm also going to church and I'm doing ceremonies where the ritual is that I'm eating the bread and the drinking the blood and the body. Like who does that? Okay.
Yeah.
That one made me
Ugh.
go, okay, hang on, maybe that's not the
That
ritual
doesn't sound
that I
good
want to be
anymore.
doing,
I don't
right?
like that.
Yeah, maybe I'll drink myself some cacao and say some ohms or something, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm self-initiating. I'm finding the freedom in that. But I also find where the self-sacrifice or worship of sacrifice subtly infiltrates, like be a visionary and a type A and want to get stuff done. And guess what I start doing? I start sacrificing myself for the mission,
Oh, yeah. See, that's what
right?
I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
so
it
there,
can, yeah, even if it's for a good thing, like what I want, I'm using old programming for the future of what I want.
yeah.
Like,
So let's
yeah.
just claim freedom right now. The guys are saying, let's claim our freedom. Anywhere where we have had soul contracts or ties, terrestrial and non-terrestrially, forward and backward through time, we now cut those ties. We release those. We claim our sovereignty, our freedom. We also claim the freedom of our ancestors,
Mm,
past and future. And so it is. Mm. Good work,
beautiful.
Annette. Yeah. Yeah.
I I want to invite everybody who's doing ancestral work also and going into also I'll call it some of the heavy lifting. And I've certainly had my own shamanic journeys with that. But when you also come in with the perspective that, okay, you're maybe healing things from the ancestors, but you're also accumulating strengths. And there's other ancestors who are really strong. And there's other ancestors who are really guiding you along the way. And they're really here to watch you thrive because in your thriving, the lineage thrives. So the support that you have to carry anything that you think that you're carrying is exponential. It's exponentially beyond the limitation that you believe that you're facing. It just is. And as you're carrying that information from your ancestry, not only do you remember who you walk with, meaning your guides, the benevolent beings that's in spirit that surrounds you, but that also surrounded your ancestors, and
Mhm.
bring them into the field of your walking forward. And your medicine is your path into your becoming.
Mhm.
And that's how you heal the whole lineage. But understand that you bring it all, not just the wounded part.
Mm-hmm.
That's healing. You're actually the only way that you can heal the wounded part is to go beyond the wound, which is what you're doing, not meeting
Yeah.
it where it was created.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we're all doing that, but there's a seduction in the sacrifice. There's
Yes.
a seduction in the mission. There's a seduction. If I don't free them first, they won't be free. I won't be free, and I'm going to suffer forever. And
Yes.
no, no, let's be really intelligent about what we're capable of. And then
Yeah.
how wonderful that we have amazing teachers
Okay, so John, I love
here
that. I love that you talked about like the seduction of the what did you say?
Sacrifice?
of the sacrifice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
seducing energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it so much it blew. I forgot the seduction of the sacrifice.
Like
I
a
was getting
ritual.
Yeah, I was getting the seduction of the new story. Guys,
Yeah.
okay, so the
Yeah.
guides, they're inviting us to feel into the collective storyline of humanity.
Mm.
We are that. Your ancestors are that. We are a part of that. The story of the ancient Egyptians and the gods and the goddesses, the story of Atlantis, the story of King Arthur, the story of Magdalene and Yeshua, the story of the Buddha, the Gandhi. Feel it. We're all part of this greater storyline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let the storyline of that aspect of the ancestry seduce us rather than this previous story of what we still have to transmute.
Or Atlantis that falling and Lemuria that got destroyed or all that, right? It's or in whichever way it shows up.
Yes. Yes. And I've noticed my shift talking about the recognition of being part of that timeline and part of that destruction and how the grief carries over and reanimates in new ways in my lifetime, in this lifetime. Like divorced the father of my kids, like so family falling apart, civilization, like I see it done telling that story. Here's the
Mm.
story we're telling now is the rise of the new earth. After the fall, the civilization that rebuilds comes. That is us.
And that's the future self consciousness that you're talking about coming into the present moment. We're bringing that forward. We're collapsing the perceived timelines into what's actually there.
Yes. And I love it, like crossing paths with Jose the Mayan timekeeper and then starting to
Mhm.
see where we're collapsing timelines. This skill has activated within us, right?
Mm.
We simply no longer show up to those timelines. Get the intelligence is there for you that's going to inform your future self, and then don't show up to participate in that distortion.
Nice. Nice.
Mm.
And that blessings to you. Thank you so much for coming on. I love
Thank
that someone's
you.
sharing on here. Emily, you're such a great teacher and you're freaking amazing.
Thanks.
Uh, Y'all, we're gonna put the link for the special offer in the chat box. It's also right underneath the video where you're watching the call. Go ahead and start clicking on it. I'm gonna give you all a couple of minutes to find it. And so before we get into the special offer, which is the session with Emily, which April, sign me up, please. I need a one-on-one with Emily also. Um, before we get into that, I want to take one more caller because I
Yeah.
feel it's going to open up the field more, and then we'll
Love
get
it.
into what's possible in the offer. And Marcella, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Thank you,
Marcella, it's one of my
John.
favorite names, by the way. I love the name Marcella. I don't know why.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Emily. I was trapped in my own negativity and all this stuff, and I was just like, okay, I need to shift. So I'm open to anything you have to for me, you know.
Okay. Well, the first thing that uh, took awareness in my field was when you talked about tracking your own negativity. Okay. First of all, right on. To be perceptive enough to even be able to do that, to track our
Mm,
negativity, like to notice it
mhm.
in the field, and then have an awareness of, oof, I don't like that. It's we're getting to the point where we're doing the work effortlessly. That is amazing. Okay, so there, first of all, there's huge celebration, and the guides want us all to be able to see where we're doing the work effortlessly, because that's going to help our future self to receive the support, the codes, the resources, the allies to bring all of that into our field, right? Is the recognition of the we're doing it effortlessly. So, first of all, thank you. Good job on that. Let me see what the guides have to say specifically about tracking negativity. Um, okay, brilliant. Here's another thing that I'm noticing more and more about Earth School. Okay, like I talked about Earth School being a living library. It's also this weird, like, inverse cosmic mirror. So we see the inverse of the truth, the divinity here, right? But then as soon as we can acknowledge that, like, we're seeing the shadow, the inverse, then it disappears and the cosmic mirror becomes the true reflection instantaneously. You already have the knowledge, okay? Rather than tracking the negativity, you just don't show up to that and you track the positivity. Like
Mm.
tracking is the key. That's the master key code right there that you have the ability to do, right? Because you can do it with the negative stuff. Tracking, shaman talk about this a lot too, and it's part of training our brain and rewiring our nervous system, I find. Okay, tracking certain thoughts. It's like we're tracking an animal through the
Mm.
forest. We get to choose what we track, and we choose where we stop tracking. So see how we talked about earlier in this conversation where we get an aha moment, but then we don't imagine how that makes our future self. So we actually stop tracking the intelligence at that point. If we just keep tracking it and consciously moving, intentionally moving our mind in the direction that we want it to go, then our energy is under our own authority and we are truly free. Okay. So you are like right here. Wait, there, right here at the edge of total freedom. Marcella is what the guides are saying, because you have the ability to track, and then you have the ability to see exactly what to do. It's the inverse. Rather than track the negative, track the positive, right? And once you do that, you have exercised a timeline shift, because you have moved your energy from being in slavery to your negative thoughts, emotions construct. You've brought it back under your own authority. That's why you're truly free, and your energy is now behaving based on your conscious authority rather than your unconscious authority.
No, I understand. It's just I don't know if I'm still like a little confused with my intuition because long story short, like I had a dark night of the soul that I'm still trying to move away from
Mhm.
in a way. But then I feel like there's people's energies trapped around me somehow, and I have to clear them. And that's my whole thing because it just takes me for so long, like maybe 5, 6 hours of clearing them so I can feel more free. It's like things that they didn't say or things that they feel sorry for. And I know is related because I want to feel more connected to
Mhm.
people.
Okay.
But it's like
So
even people that I don't see for years or people who died, and it's like, oh my God.
so to clear faster, what I do is I just try to get better at doing it in the moment so it doesn't add up on me. So rather than shoving it in that moment that somebody says something to you, breathe through it.
Recently, no, it's just past
Past stuff
people
coming up.
stories. Yeah.
Then you can also ask your guides to help you make that more concise, and then
Hmm.
follow your intuition. Yeah, but you're doing all the
Thank you.
right things. You're doing all the right things.
God bless you guys.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Blessings, Marcella. Marcella, a session with you may be really good with Emily to go deeper into this because there's a root of something that's like you're just, it feels to me like you're hovering right around it and it's just ready to like be yanked.
Mhm.
Um, and
I,
again, I was gonna say there's like a vortexual energy, but it's how you choose to focus on it. Is it an opportunity for releasing, or am I, if you're in victimhood of how it's keeping you back, that's gonna keep generating something. And I'm I'm telling y'all what is in the field right now. It's nothing compared to what's been there before. The power of our thought, where we're putting our attention to and what we're creating is impacting your life in ways that are immeasurable right now. So it's so important that we understand how to reframe in a way that it really serves us.
yes.
It's just so important.
Mm.
You were about to say something, Emily. I interrupted. I apologize.
No, no, no. I'm pretty sure I'm the interrupter.
No, no, no.
I'm not sure what was there, John. It blipped in and blipped out. When it comes back, it'll come back. Yeah.
And I think maybe it's going to come out when we start going through a special offer. We're
Yep.
still
I
going
do
to
too.
take more live Q&A. And there's some great questions that came in the chat that I want to address as well.
Mhm.
But let's give some time to this opportunity to work with Emily. Y'all, this is less than half of what Emily normally charges,
Mhm.
and her sessions are epic. So Emily, please let everybody know what's entailed or what can show up in a session.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The guides want to talk about it in terms of what is possible in session work that's not necessarily possible in the same way here. And that is some of these things that feel like those deeply rooted things that John's talking about. They definitely have to do with victimhood, like where we have moved into victimhood, because that's the main opposite of freedom, right?
Mhm.
We're either victim to something, or we're in a state of empowerment. We're victors. We're in freedom over it. And it's huge right now. Each one of us are carrying our opportunity for initiation in terms of letting
Mhm.
go of being victims and stepping into our own freedom. And claiming it requires witness and face and feel. Okay. So, for example, a dear friend of mine, a medicine woman, and she was in Shasta as well. Another timeline that we collapsed was around defamation of the divine feminine and
Mhm.
false accusations. Okay. And she experienced in a terrible custody battle the most horrendous false accusations that can come against a mother. That's when I met her about 5 years ago. And we started working in the records to work on like the physical things that were happening in her world that were shaking her nervous system, right? To bring the most benevolent outcome to understand why. And through the years that case has been dropped, she's been cleared, but she holds that pain of the
Mhm.
false accusation, and it's victim pain, right? It's
Yeah.
very real in her world. And from the higher perspectives, she's got this victim and it's deep, right? And it required deep witness and release in the Akashic Records. So when that happens, we got to face and feel that stuff to get it to come up. And sometimes we don't even feel safe enough in our own environments to allow that to come up. That's a unique thing that happens in a one-on-one session is we're going to create safety and open up the records and get the energy flowing through you so that you can access that and let go of the emotion. Right? Some people need even a little extra besides just opening the records. Most people that softens them enough, but some people need a little breath work, right? Or they need a little tapping to get to it, to get it out. But once we release it and you can face and feel, you will fully collapse that timeline.
Mhm.
But having like a high level of witness of someone who understands what's moving and shifting and how dynamic and impactful it is for all of humanity, there's something about that perspective, that crystallization of that experience that's really powerful. So, for those of you who are looking for that kind of deep moving experience, that's something that we can do. We can go deeper into in a one on one.
Amazing. You also get into business Akashic and tapping into potential timelines and relational. It's Emily's amazing. Like her capacity in so many different fields to really anchor something in and to strategize and see what lands for you also. It's
Yes.
your mind is incredible.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, John. I get excited about that too. I was working with a client this week who has had a spiritual business for as long as I have, working, like I would say, alongside of me. Not sometimes she comes to me for sessions and I haven't actually trained her, right? But she's been
Mhm.
moving her career forward as well, and we're friends. And so she books me for a session and she's just like, Emily, like I'm committed to this. I'm devoted. I'm doing everything. Like she's frustrated. Like, where are the clients? Right? I'm like, let's go
Mhm.
in. Let's go into the records. Let's look. And they began asking me about how she was showing up and running her business, like what her actual business strategy was. And as soon as I saw, they stop immediately, like
Mhm.
immediately. What you're doing is not working. Here's do this instead, and gave her a way simpler step by step instructional guide that she can move forward, along with understanding why what she had originally constructed wasn't working. So that and it's important that we understand why, so we don't do that again, right? So
Mhm.
our future self can build something different. So that's an example of how we brought her future self right here into the now, in her business.
I love that. It's again, you're amazing. Yeah, the link for the special offers in the chat box. Again, it's underneath the video where you're watching right now. Special offer button, just click on that. It'll take you to the special offer page. And you can always access the special offers at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. So you'll know where to find it. This session, it's 30 minutes, which a lot happens in 30 minutes, y'all. It's like Emily is on it. It's normally valued at $555. We get it for BTO at $222. So it's like it's amazing access to Emily. And she's high level. Again, I can't say enough about that. So it's an opportunity, a gift to our community and a gift to yourself,
I love doing it
tune
with you
into the
guys.
Akashic. And also someone said, I don't know how, I still don't understand how to tap into the Akashic. Well, come back and listen to the replay. There was a guided journey there, but also you'll understand when you're in the process of it with Emily as well. If you choose to have a session, it's like it becomes more accessible to you. It's not so foreign. The mind relaxes into receiving, and it's a lot easier than you believe, but there has to be an accessibility through you for you to do it for yourself.
Yep.
If you're not available to do it for yourself, Emily can guide you into that without question.
Yep. And the simple answer is it's becoming a vibrational match and
Mm,
taking us through like the meditation that we did earlier. That's how my guides have brought us into that frequency of a vibrational match.
mhm,
I also wanted to say about the sessions, if you sign up for a session, you're going to get a prep worksheet that's going to help you get really clear about what you want to experience and who you want to be on the other side of this session, which that starts the moment you start filling it out. Okay. Your records are going to already start communicating with you. You might already start to get hits from the time that you fill that out to the time that you meet with me. Then we have the session. I record the session for you and I'll share the replay. And I invite people to listen again, not instantly. You need the first 24, 48 hours to allow the session to continue to work because your thoughts percolate. You track things differently. Okay. We're in there for 30 minutes, but the session lasts a lot longer. 90% of what happens after the session as your
mm,
mind begins to track differently. I do recommend that you re listen at some point, though, within the first week, because you'll notice that you hear completely different things. And
mhm,
it's a cool way for us to begin to recognize just how much we've shifted through our time in the Akash, and that it gives us some trail markers. So
mm.
those are the cool behind the scenes things you need to know about this 30-minute session. Okay.
And you get to hang out with Emily, which is always fun and amazing.
I try to entertain. I'm always
Oh,
I'm
please, you
always
can't
having
help it.
fun, so you're gonna have fun too.
Well, like Catherine said, you're really an excellent teacher, so it's wonderful. So you just don't get her reading. You actually, there's an integration, a coding that gets awakened. So it's wonderful. Again, y'all know where to find the link now. It's $222. It's a two payment option as well, if that makes it easier for y'all. So again, we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to access these incredible opportunities. Um, and with that, Emily, let's go on to some more Q&A.
And let's do.
Um, First of all, Araceli, hello. It's good to feel you on here. Thank you for coming on. She says hello to you as well. And then Minnie has a question. Wrote in, I seem to have to dedicated all my energies to one of my daughters who is recovering from an eating disorder. I feel that something is always keeping me back from learning and being able to learn to help myself spiritually.
Okay, will you read it one more time?
Yes. So let me get back to it.
Okay.
Um, I seem to have dedicated all of my energies to one of my daughters who is recovering from an eating disorder. I feel that something is always keeping me back from learning and being
Gotcha.
able to learn how to help myself spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sacrifice energy in some ways.
Yep, 100%. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And that's the thing about the self-sacrifice energy is that it's so subtle, it
Mhm.
justifies the heck out of itself. Like, I don't know what mom with a daughter with an eating disorder is not gonna just devote all of our and just be like,
Absolutely.
what do you need, right? So this is one of the paradigms that gets to shift and change, is that we get to say, okay, how do we look at this differently? Okay, so let me just tap in and see what the guides have to say for us mothers who definitely get trapped in that self-sacrificing energy. Mm. First of all, this is for all of us. Worry, worrying about somebody that we love, that is the opposite of what we want to do. It's like energy voodoo. You might as well be doing a voodoo ceremony. I'm 100% serious about that. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, like the talking about how powerful we are, you might as well be doing black magic on people that you love.
Mm,
Okay?
mm,
Self as well. Ooh, and I just feel all that moving through the body.
A
So
powerful statement.
that was a big one. Um, I'm just the messenger. That was from the gods. Okay. No, I'll take ownership for that. It is a big one.
Hmm.
So recognizing that we can, again, envision the future self of people that we love being empowered, having the skills, the tools to do this. Uh, that's the best way that we can truly support people. And when we come from that perspective, again, our mind is thinking we're tracking on a completely different avenue, different timeline. You're going to get different ideas about how to show up and help your daughter that aren't entangled in the sacrifice energy. And you're not even going to see them if we stay in that place of feeling like, I mean, sometimes we can look at our loved ones as helpless, right? Oh, and like of course we want to show up and help them, but it's really important that we don't see others as helpless because that's another really big one. Like in addition to the sacrifice, learned helplessness keeps us from our power. And a lot of times we're perceiving that, we're projecting that onto others, we're projecting it onto ourselves by needing to be the savior and to show up. So untangling ourselves from that is a big one. Let me get some just very specific mom advice here. Okay, so the guys are saying don't overcomplicate it. The back pocket question is, um, what's the best way I can help so and so?
Mm.
It's super simple, you know, in their highest good and my highest good.
Mm.
And notice the ideas that come in. Okay. Uh, the guides are also saying notice the difference between, let's say you didn't ask the question and you just dive into thinking, okay, my daughter, she needs help, and then just a bunch of ideas start coming up. The ideas that come up after you think, okay, she needs help, are in a vibrational frequency match to she needs help.
Mm.
Okay. Now, from a certain perspective, I'm not going to argue she needs help. We know from the higher realms, though, we don't actually need anything. Everything is already here, right? So we've got to be really careful and understand that we're programming our reality at a very high level through our thoughts. Sometimes our thoughts are in innocence. We want to serve, we want to help, but we need that adjustment to be able to see, no, I got to do this with more intentionality right now,
Mm.
right? So pausing to ask the question, how can I best serve and help in this moment? Right?
Mm.
Knowing that we want to empower each other. The thoughts that come in are going to be different. Okay. Another thing is that if we notice that something's always getting in the way of what you want, you are not a master of your time space reality. Okay. Your time gets hijacked from you. Let's see what the guides have to say about. Oh, super simple. Figure out what you want to do. Okay. Get out your calendar. Put what you want to do on your calendar. Self
Mm.
care is a great place to start. All right. This is how we begin to untangle ourselves from letting all these other things come in between. Put it on your calendar and
Mm.
guard that time. And I promise you, if you do that, if you prioritize first what's important to you, the rest of your life will fall in line around that. Okay. This is how entrepreneurs do it on our calendar when we have important things, when we have goals, we put it on the calendar. You're basically an entrepreneur of your own life. You are creating your own life, your own story. You got to put it on the calendar.
Mm.
There's one other piece that was coming in that's important there. Maybe it wasn't as important because it went away. Let me see. Oh, yes. There's a really cool metaphor video on YouTube that visually illustrates this through filling rocks up in this big jar. Okay. And there are
Mhm.
big rocks, medium rocks, and little sand rocks. Right. And if you don't put them in the right order, like if you put the sand in first, I don't know if I'm describing the experiment very well. There's one empty jar, and then we've got big rocks, little rock, sand. And the goal is we got to get big rocks, little rock, sand all into the empty jar. But here's the trick is that the order of operations matters. If you
Mhm.
put the sand in first, the sand fills up a whole bunch of space, then there's barely enough room for the medium rocks, and then you still got to get your big rocks in, and you're like, what the heck? There's no way this is going to work. Okay. However, if you put your big rocks in first, these are the things that are important to you, that you value. You put the big rocks in first, then you put the medium, and then you fill the sand, the day to day life in, it all will fit.
Mhm.
Okay. If you don't have the life that you want, or the money that you want, or the relationship that you want, you're not investing your time, your resources, your thoughts, your emotions the right way, because we all have the same amount of time. Okay. Warren Buffett is a great example. If you don't have as much money as that guy and you think, well, we've all got the same amount of time and resources.
Mhm.
It's how we use it
Mhm.
that's important. Okay.
Beautiful. Catherine, again, such a great teacher. Yes,
Yeah.
Emily's amazing at teaching. I love your examples. Let's move on to another caller. Before that, I wanted to clarify, when you're guiding in the Akashic, do guides come in as well sometimes for different
Mhm.
people? And so that's part of what shows up in the field.
Yeah. And people spontaneously, they come in and I communicate anytime that a guide is
Mhm.
there. Although our guides don't, it's not mandatory that they show up and say, hello, I'm Hathor and I'm here. Although I have noticed Hathor comes in quite a bit to adjust receptivity in people as we're opening the records. But if
Mm.
people are curious about their guides, they will name themselves and come forward. Our teachers will. Sometimes they stay a little more in the background and just let the intelligence come through. But our guides, our teachers, our loved ones that are coming forward in the Akashic Records are very specific to what it is that we want to work on. And yeah,
Hmm.
there's a collection of masters, teachers, loved ones, and guides that come forward in the space to hold the space for us while we're in there. And if people are curious about who exactly that is, yeah, I encourage them to ask because we can identify them if they don't spontaneously identify
I
themselves.
love that. I love that that comes in as a possibility as well. And there's a whole conversation around guides, how that's shifting as well. That's another show. But I wanted to land that for anybody that goes
Cool.
deeper into the special offer that, again, we're so supported. It's so amazing. But we're being called within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right there. And
Yep.
again, these tools, accessing the Akasha, it's a tool, it's a record
Yep.
for us and that intelligence. So again, profound, profound what's happening. Let's go to our next caller. Nicole, let's go to you. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I should say that I have some panic about being on video. It makes me really uncomfortable, but I'll try to bite the bullet and go ahead.
You
So
already
I have
did.
You
I have,
did.
and
Oh
Emily,
no.
I'll leave it up to you whether to answer one or both or what to do with that. The first is that I have had a great deal of fear and terror most of my life, but particularly since the current administration in the US took power.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had constant terrifying visions and fears and whatever of being essentially taken away by the modern day Gestapo.
Mm.
And I'd like to know if there's any precedent for that in my records, if this is a future foregone conclusion, or if it's just some stuff from the past, either my soul memory or ancestral memory. And the second question has to do with a really big vision that I have for my life that has kind of come in drips and drabs throughout my lifetime. It's huge. I mean, to actually disclose it, I would have to have everyone on the call sign a non-disclosure agreement. But it involves music, it involves a school, it involves purchasing a village in Europe. Um, but it seems so impossible now, you know, given my current circumstances, the current state of the world, where I am in my life. I mean, the gap between where I am now and where I would like, you know, like to be with that
Well,
vision, it seems unbridgeable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would encourage you to unplug from the news right away for any big thing that you want to do. Because for me, I do not experience the terror, the panic, the fear of what's happening in the world because I refuse to show up to it. And that's really like the only thing that I can say for me is that, and I want to make sure that I'm getting intelligence in from the guides too, because this definitely feels very much Emily, although I feel like that's been influenced by my guides, Nicole. But for me, for anybody who still chooses to show up and to participate in that arena, you're going to be subject to the effect of that. There's cause and effect. There's hermetic principles. There's
mhm.
cosmic principles that you're going to be entangled in that distortion. And it's causing the distortion in your mind of the old timeline, which here's what the guides say about like whether it's real or not that you've been drug off by the Gestapo before, because it potentially could be in a past life. And
Mhm.
I do have a hunch that it is real. But here's what the guides say more about real is that it doesn't matter if it's real, it's the power of the story that's changing.
Right.
So the power, the consciousness of that story is affecting your vibrational frequency, and it's all tied into the fear and the panic and the terror.
Yeah.
So you're tuning in and allowing this storyline to be conducted through your being, right? You got to unplug and totally plug into the, and sometimes it can feel like a force of will, like we have to firewall it. But once you do it enough and you say, nope, I'm actually not required to show up and play that out through my being, I can consciously tune in and play this out. You'll repeat that enough times that the new thought form of the bigger vision will become the innate, the habit, your repetitive, rather than this other program, in essence, that's become repetitive. But they're just simply programs.
I don't get how to do that when like he's threatening to invade my city, you know?
The only thing that I can tell you is that I'm not plugged into it. So the more you plug into it, the more real the fear is. So yeah, but Catherine says plug into BTO. I- that's that is literally the only antidote that I have for you guys is don't plug, like John said, like, okay, remember the vortex that time is changing. John plugged into a different source of power in the meditation.
Mhm.
We got to do that. Whatever that means for you, that's a metaphor for all of us. It's an invitation into our freedom. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to.
Well, and I want to share something, Nicole, and just consider this. It's not gospel, but it's a consideration. You have a force that is invading your city. This force is creating a consciousness that is invading your creation. Your creation is being hijacked by this consciousness.
Yeah.
Where would you rather put your energy? The invasion of the city is not affecting your day to day right now. You're still getting gas, you're still getting food at the grocery store. If you choose to put your energy into something that is uplifting humanity, then you are empowered to create the change that you wish to see in the world. The Gestapo energy that is coming forward, that's creating this fear, is hijacking your opportunity to do something about what is happening in the trajectory that you would prefer not to happen.
Mhm.
So it's like being in the stillness for just slowing down, getting to that zero space, tune into your Akash and see where it really wants to guide you instead of you feeling that it
Yeah.
is up to you to direct it and to save what's happening. And the only way that know how to do it right now is I need to be in fear. I need to do something. Since I don't know what to do, fear is going to be my guide that right now, at least it's keeping me frozen. And in being frozen, it feels safe. And we know that that's not true.
Mhm.
So understand the
Convince my nervous
seduction,
system.
the seduction of fear also is strong. Seduction is big right now.
Yep. And that's how is it serving you? That's an important thing to know before we can move through something is what's the gift in the wound? What's the
Hmm.
teacher here? Like, how's it serving you? Do you know how the fear has served you or being in this panic?
I I've been trying to unpack this for decades,
Mhm.
literally. And I still have not unpacked it.
I
Um,
wonder if a session with you, Emily, is like it's going deep and like
Yeah.
illuminate and spin it.
I wish I could. Yeah.
And there was one other piece, Nicole. So figuring out what the peaceful version of you looks like and trying that on. And so what I would encourage you to do is while we're still here, let thoughts come into your mind about what tomorrow looks like in peace, in joy, in serenity. Notice how you move about your day. And that's you communicating with your future self. And she knows. You might not know the way, but the way knows the way. Okay.
Okay.
And if you believe that the way knows the way and you can tap into that future version of yourself, she will feed back the knowledge that you need to you in the moment, along with the, okay, Nicole, now's the time to jump. Abandon that fear. Just come over here and just breathe. Just get to peace.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, there's another thing that's really, oh, I cleaned off my desk before we started. I gotta find it. Okay. So
Find it. Well, as you're finding it, I also want to claim, y'all, again, our consciousness is creating our future like never before. So where there is an emotion and energy and anxiety that comes through, and it takes some getting it takes readjusting the nervous system. I get that. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It can, but it's not going to. And and when that comes up, you say, No, I'm not playing this anymore. I am choosing something different." That oppression that we're feeling on the outside world from political parties or governments or other agendas that we're not standing up for, they're mirrors for we're not saying no. We have to say no inside of ourselves first.
yeah.
We have to claim that. We have to.
Thank you for that. I just realized that's a huge part of it. So when we collapse the timeline for Grace around the divine feminine and the false
Yes.
accusation, it was her husband. We were standing in a circle of eight who said, "No," like it was
Mhm.
fierce. Like we will not allow this, right? And I get
Mhm.
chills from we have to step up take a stand for ourselves and say no, even if you get pulled back into it,
Yeah.
Nicole. Like I can even feel you already like moving into a state of more peace and surrender as you're here with us. Yeah, look at it, she's
A
smiling.
little bit,
Because
just a little bit.
she's
Oh, you smiled.
And
There you
smiling. She
go.
has a
you're
big
also,
smile on her face.
I want to compliment you for being willing to move through the panic to be on the camera. That right there shows me that you're here, you're doing the work, you've already got the skills inside of you.
Yeah.
And I also just compliment you. Thank you for taking this on. This is a big one. I believe that you have the knowledge inside of you, and this future version of yourself is going to feed back the intelligence, and you're going to break through. And I'm holding that space for victory for you, my sister Nicole.
Hmm.
Then you get to
Thank
come
you.
back and bring the medicine back to the rest of the people. Okay? It's one step at a time. This is what I was leaning over. You guys anybody like Abraham Hicks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I printed this out a long time ago. Like you can see, like how I've even taken some notes on it there. But I keep the emotional scale guide always close by.
Mm.
So I can be like, okay, and the idea of how to use this is this ranks our emotions, like all the emotions that humans can feel. Although I'm like, I am pissed off. Where is that? And then I can't find it on here. So that you might find some emotion. But we got the highest vibrational frequency to the
Mhm.
most destructive, the densest vibrational frequencies. And what this helps us do is identify where we are in any moment. And the goal is to get one higher, one higher. And so I'll just randomly check in with myself along the day and be like, where am I right now? Okay, let's go for one higher. So this is a great tool that you can use for mastery to be aware of your vibration in more moments throughout the day.
Mm. Blessings to you, Nicole.
Okay, thank you.
Good
So
job.
much grace for the journey of what you're feeling, that beautiful empathy that you have and caring for others, truly. And we're here to see it rise so that you can
Yeah.
really serve in an empowered way. Go ahead,
You're
Emily.
right. Well, that's where it comes from. And it's like the mama question
Mm.
from was it Mimi who asked
Yeah.
that? Yeah, about the mama question about feeling like that. And Kuan Yin, oh my gosh, you probably have deep connections to Kuan Yin because she saw so much sacrifice here as she was ascending. She actually chose to come back to meet humanity in our suffering to help and to heal us, right?
Mm.
And so that heart of wanting to be involved and feeling so responsible is the shadow side of what gets you pulled into that. I would flip it and be like, all right, Kuan Yin, how do I show up with all this compassion and serve humanity?
Hmm.
Right? So it's going from like the worry, the energy voodoo to how do I serve?
Mm.
Cool.
Beautiful. All right, Nicole, I am
Right.
going to take
Thank you.
credit for bringing Emily on for these drops that are landing on the ice, that are cracking it open for that oceanic consciousness to create what your light is meant to create in this realm now. So blessings to you and everything that you're putting together.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so much light. Oh my God, there's so much we can share with you, Emily.
Keep
We can
going.
do like a
Oh,
whole
I
show.
just looked at my clock. I'm like, it's 6:30. What?
I know, right? It's just like, y'all, we're gonna have the replay. Come back, go back into the records with us, go through the experience of the activate and listen. Just pause and listen. And then the opportunity to go deeper with Emily, the one-on-one session, again, y'all, it's more than half off. It's 222. It's normally $555. Um, and the sessions with Emily are worth every penny and then some,
Thank you.
without question, at the full price and then some. So again, it's a gift to be able to offer this on BTO. And we're all walking each other home. And it's why we have these amazing special offers, because we know that sharing in abundance in this way, it elevates everybody.
Mhm.
So Emily, thank you for that. Thank you for this show today, sharing so much, so generously. And man, what you're anchoring in right now is just like, yes, more of that,
Thank you.
please. So thank you for all
Beautiful.
you do.
Yeah, thank you guys for allowing me to be here with you again. If you
Mm,
had a question that didn't get answered specifically today, what the guides are saying is, yeah, go back and listen or receive. Like the guides are saying, everything there's intelligence for all of us here to answer all of the questions. So you might just need to dig a little deeper and open and be like, oh yeah, okay, there it is, I got it. But all the questions that you asked, the guides are assuring me the intel is available
hmm.
to
And I
work.
love that we've been voodooing ourselves.
I know. Let's don't do that anymore. Um,
What? It's
we also want to close up the records before we leave, all right? And so this
beautiful.
process will also help us to integrate all the codes that have come in today. So when you create hands in prayer pose, slight pressure on the left and right palm, it's going to help your masculine, feminine, right and left part of your brain
Mm,
receive this and integrate it. And then we want thumbs touching each other in the heart. We give thanks for all knowledge and healing that comes forward in this space and acknowledge the frequency of oneness. That means all the aha moments that we've had tonight, we give those back to the collective tribe. Okay? The
mm,
dodecahedron of consciousness that surrounds us. This is like a once we get an awareness, it can become available to everyone. So we offer all of the intelligences, gifts to humanity that come through tonight. Okay, with
mm,
one final Om, closing the Akashic Records. Ah. The records are now closed.
mm. Ah,
Good work,
amazing.
everybody. Good
Thank
work.
you, Emily. Blessings to everyone. Look forward to seeing y'all on the next call.